decorated with diamonds, emeralds, and pearls, radiates splendid effulgence. O you whose every dark blue Neela braids of hair are interwoven the bunches of flowers. When, oh when, will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you whose round hips are decorated with a belt of dangling flowers. O you whose charmingly thin waist is decorated by a belt of tiny tinkling jeweled bells. O you whose beautifully shaped legs taper gracefully from your thigh like the trunk of the king of elephants. When, oh when, will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you whose captivating ankle bells make the sounds of various kinds of divine mantras resembling a group of royal swans singing. O you whose extreme super excellent movements put to shame the swaying of a golden creeper. Oh when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you who is humbly worshipped by all the Lord Brahmas in unlimited millions of universes created by Lord Vishnu. O you who is the bestower of benedictions to the daughter of the Himalayas, Parvati, Shiva's wife, the daughter of Pulama, Sachi, Indra's wife, and to Brahma's wife, Saraswati, O you, whose toenails glow with the radiance of boundless mystic perfections and opulences. When, oh when, will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O goddess, leader of Vedic sacrifices, O goddess, leader of pious activities, O goddess, leader of a spontaneous devotional service, O goddess, leader of all the demigods and goddesses, O goddess, leader of all knowledge in the three Vedas, O goddess, leader of enforcing scriptural principles, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of fortune, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of wisdom, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of knowledge, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of wisdom, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of fortune, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of wisdom, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of knowledge, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of fortune, O goddess, leader of all goddesses. O Sri Radhika, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto you. May Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini, upon hearing my astonishing prayer recited, bestow her most merciful sidelong glance upon the speaker. At that time, one will feel all the effects of past, present, and future karma completely destroyed and gain entrance into the assembly of Nandanandana's Krishna's eternal loving devotees. That aspiring devotee who chants this prayer on the full moon day, waxing 8 lunar day, 10th lunar day, 11th lunar day, Ekadashi, and 13th lunar day will find that his mind and intelligence become pure, each and every desire will be fulfilled without fail, and by the most merciful sidelong glance of Sri Radha, one will obtain pure ecstatic love, prema. The aspiring devotee who recites this prayer 100 times while in the waters of Sri Radha Kunda up to the thighs, navel, chest, or neck attains complete perfection in religiosity, economic development, fulfillment of desires, and liberation, the power by which everything spoken will come true, and great opulence from attaining transcendental majesty. At that time, one gets to meet Sri Radhika face to face, seeing her even with one's own present eyes, and Sri Radhika becomes so pleased that she instantly bestows the greatest benediction of being able to see her own beloved Shyamasundar Krishna with one's present eyes. Then Lord Krishna, the Lord of Vrajadham, grants one entrance into his eternal ecstatic pastimes, which is the only goal for which true Vaishnavas hanker. मुनीन्द्रवृन्दवन्दिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलासिनि मुनीन्द्रवृन्द प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलास मुनीन्द्रवृन्दवन्दिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलासिनि लोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविला वजेन्द्र भानुनन्दिनी वजेन्द्र सोनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् वजेन्द्र भानुनन्दिनी वजेन्द्र सोनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष वजेन्द्र भानुनन्दिनी वजेन्द्र सोनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजन वजेन्द्र भानुनन्दिनी वजेन्द्र सोनु संगते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष अशोकवृक्षवल्लरी वितानमण्डपस्थिते प्रवालवालपल्लव प्रभारुणाग्रिकोमले अशोक प्रवालवालपल्लव प्रभारुणाग्रि वराभ्यस्फुरत्करे प्रभूत सम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् प्रभूत सम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष अनङ्गरङ्गमङ्गल प्रसङ्गभङ्गुराभ्रुवं सविभ्रवं ससम्भ्रवं दृगन्तबाणपाटने निरन्तरं वशीकृत प्रतीतनन्दनन्दने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् प्रतीतिनन्दनन्दने कदा करिष्यसि मां तदित्सुवर्णचम्पकप्रदीप्तगौरविग्रहे मुखाप्रभा परास्तकोटिशारदेनुमण्डले विचित्रचित्रसञ्चरचकोरसावलोचने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् मदोन्मत्ति यौवन प्रमोदमान मण्डिते प्रियानुरागरञ्जिते कलाविलास पण्डिते अनन्य धन्य कुंजराज कामकेलि कोविदे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् अशेष हाव भाव धीर हीरहार भूषिते प्रभूत शात कुंभ कुंभ कुंभी कुंभ शुस्तने प्रशस्त मंडहास्य चूर्ण पूर्ण सौख्य सागरे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनम् मृणालवालवल्लरी तरंग रंग दोलते लताग्रलस्य लोल नीललोचनावलोकने La la lulan milan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare श्री श्री राधाष्टमी की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी
Could you please read translation of this version? Could you please read translation?
All glories to Radha and Krishna in the divine forest of Vrindavan. All glories to the three presiding deities of Vrindavan, Sri Govinda, Gopinath and Madana Mohan. All glories to Shama Kund, Radha Kund, Golden Hill and the Yamuna river, Kalindi. All glories to the great forest known as Mahavana, where Krishna and Balaram displayed all their childhood pastimes. All glories to Keshi Ghat, where Krishna killed the Keshi demon. All glories to the Vamshi White, where Krishna attracted all the gopis to come by playing his flute. Glories to all of the 12 forests of Raja, At these places, the son of Nanda, Sri Krishna, performed all his pastimes. All glory to Krishna's divine father and mother Nanda and Yashoda. All glory to the cowherd boys headed by Sri Dhama, the older brother of Srimati Radharani and Ananda Manjari. All glories to the cows and calves of Raja. All glories to Radha's divine father and mother Vishnu and the beautiful Kirtida. All glories to Purnamasi, the mother of Sandipini Muni, grandmother of Madhumangal, and Nandinithi, and beloved disciple of Devi Narada. All glories to the young cowherd maidens of Krishna. All glories to Gopeshwara Shiva, who resides in Vrindavan in order to protect the holy Dham. All glories to Krishna's funny Balaram friend, funny Brahmana friend, Madhu Mangal. All glories to Ramaghat, where Lord Balaram performed his last dance. All glories to Lord Balaram, the son of Rohini. All glories to all the residents of Vrindavan. All glories to the wives of the proud Vedic Brahmanas. All glories to the wives of Karya serpent. Through pure devotion, they all obtained the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. All glories to the place where the Rasa dance of Sri Krishna was performed. All glories to Radha and Shyam. All glories to Radha and Shyam. All glories to divine Rasa dance, which is the most beautiful of all Lord Krishna's pastimes. All glories to the mellows of conjugal love, which is the most excellent of all rasas, and is propagated in Raja by Sri Krishna in the form of divine Parakya Bhav, paramour love. Remembering the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda's consort Sri Janani Devi, this very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna sings the Sankirtan of the holy.
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Kalindi Yamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Kisigata Vamsivata Dvadashakana Jahasa Bhalila Kailasi Nanda Nanda Srinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaga Sridama Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsa Gam Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavana Maj Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhato Dvijaraj Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jaya Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Nagakanyagan Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govinda Charan Shirasamandala Jaya Jaya Radhasya Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram Jaya Jaya Jvala Rasa Sarvarasa Parakiya Bhave Javrajete Pracha Shijanava Pada Padma Koriya Smaran Jena Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Moha Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Kalindi Yamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Kesigata Vamshivata Dadashakana Shilata Jahasa Balila Koila Shinanda Nandan Shinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan Sridamaji Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsagan Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavanamas Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhato Dvijaraj Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandan Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jatagan Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Jagakanyaga Bhakti Teja Hara Paila Govinda Charan Shira Samandala Jaya Jaya Radheshyam Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram Jaya Jaya Jvala Rasa Sarvarasa Parakiyam Bhavejaha Vrajite Pracha Shijanava Padapadma Koriyasmaran Jina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Moha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Krodha Nitai Mayapur Sase Jaya Krodha Nitai Mayapur Sase. Jaya Shitula Sena Jaya Giridhari Lal Jaya Shitula Sena Jaya Giridhari Lal. Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radheshyam Jaya Radheshyam Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Shila Prabhupada प्रेम से बोले जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे प्रेम से बोले जय जय श्री राधे श्याम श्री राधास्वामी महामहोत्सव की जय
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. ISKCON Guruvind ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shishi Kotan Thai Mai Prashashi ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. So I'm going to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a very nice verse. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 4, Text 71. Krishna Prema Bhavita Yanna Chitendriya Kaya Krishna Nija Shakti Radha Kridhara Sahaya Krishna Prema Bhavita Yanna Chitendriya Kaya Krishna Nija Shakti Radha Kridhara Sahaya Krishna Prema Bhavita Yanna Chitendriya Kaya Krishna Nija Shakti Radha Kridhara Sahaya. Does anyone want to? Should we go around or just? Okay. Krishna Prema, love for Lord Krishna. Bhavita, steeped in. Yanra, whose. Chitta, mind. Indriya, senses. Kaya, body. Krishna, of Lord Krishna. Nija Shakti, his own energy. Radha, Srimati Radharani. Kridhara, of pastimes. Sahaya, companion. Translation. Her mind, senses and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy and she helps him in his pastimes. Please repeat. Her mind, senses and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy and she helps him in his pastimes. Prabhupada Prabhupada ki jai. Srimati Radharani is as fully spiritual as Krishna. No one should consider her to be material. She is definitely not like the conditioned souls who have material bodies, gross and subtle, covered by material senses. She is all spiritual and both her body and her mind are of the same spiritual embodiment. Because her body is spiritual, her senses are also spiritual. Thus her body, mind and senses fully shine in love for Krishna. She is the personified Ladini Shakti, the pleasure-giving energy of the Lord's internal potency, and therefore she is the only source of enjoyment for Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna cannot enjoy anything that is internally different from him. Therefore Radha and Shri Krishna are identical. The Sandini portion of Shri Krishna's internal potency has manifested the all-attractive form of Shri Krishna. And the same internal potency in the Ladini feature has presented Srimati Radharani, who is the attraction for the all-attractive. No one can match Srimati Radharani in the transcendental pastimes of Shri Krishna. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is a nice description of Srimati Radharani. Her mind, senses and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She's Krishna's own energy and she helps him in his pastimes. So just as Krishna's body, his mind, his senses are all spiritual, and just as Krishna's birth and activities are all spiritual, in the same way Srimati Radharani, who's an expansion of Krishna, is also completely spiritual. It's not that she's not like an ordinary jiva of this material world. She's not conditioned in any way by this material energy. So we're very fortunate to celebrate this day by discussing Srimati Radharani's divine qualities and pastimes and singing for her pleasure. So generally we don't talk of this Srimati Radharani so much in public, but because today is her appearance day, then we want to glorify her since it's her day. So Prabhupada, in many places, he states many things about Srimati Radharani. And there's one quote that I found very interesting that Prabhupada was saying in one of his lectures. So I'd like to quote this lecture, one paragraph of it. So Prabhupada is saying, so Radha Krishna philosophy is a very, very great philosophy. It is to be understood in the liberated stage. Radha Krishna philosophy is not to be understood in the conditioned stage. But when we worship Radha Krishna in our conditioned stage, actually we worship Lakshmi Narayan. Radha Krishna worship is on the platform of pure love, Rag Marg, and Lakshmi Narayan worship is on the regulated principle, Vidhi Marg. So in the Vidhi Marg, when you have no love for Krishna, we have to follow the regulative principles and automatically there is practice. This is sadhana bhakti. And actually when you're on the love platform, then it is called Rag Marg. So without Vidhi Marg, if anyone wants to learn the Rag Marg immediately, that is foolishness. So when we like, Prabhupada is also explaining that when we try to study for a particular subject, then we have to go through the regulative principles of going to primary school, secondary school, college, university. Then finally, we can actually get a degree in some subject matter. So if we start learning ABC and then as soon as we start learning ABC, we go straight to the postgraduate study of that subject, it doesn't seem very natural and it doesn't seem very sane. So in the same way, we have to go through a gradual process of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, and actually Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered the postgraduate study of Krishna consciousness. And then other books as well that the Goswamis have written to elaborate on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So discussion of Radha Krishna is actually a postgraduate study. So it's not actually for the beginning stage. And Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, who's an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya, gives a very careful, I'll speak about that later. So Prabhupada is saying that, therefore I do not indulge in the discussion of Radha Krishna so easily. Rather go on with regulated principle at the present moment. Gradually as you become purified, as you become on the transcendental platform, you'll understand what is Radha Krishna. Don't try to understand Radha Krishna very quickly. It's a very big subject. If you want to understand Radha Krishna very quickly, then there will be many Prakrita Sahajas. The Radha Krishna philosophy has to be understood by the liberated person, not by the conditioned soul. So we can see how confidential actually the subject matter is, because if we read through the whole Bhagavad Gita, the 700 verses, there's only one verse that actually indirectly points out to Srimati Radharani, and that's Bhagavad Gita 9:13. And that verse, Krishna says, those great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They're fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So this verse where it says Devi Prakritim, this is actually referring to Srimati Radharani, but it's indirectly referring to her. And if we look through the whole Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses, then there's only one verse in the whole Bhagavatam where it's indirectly stating Srimati Radharani as well. And that's Bhagavatam 10:30-38. Anayaradito nunam. It starts off with that. Anyaradito nunam. So, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the word Aradhita refers to Srimati Radharani. So we can see that it's such a confidential subject, that the whole Bhagavatam, the whole Bhagavad Gita, there's only one verse in each book about Srimati Radharani. So, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered the postgraduate study. So when we go through the proper study of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are more purified and qualified, then we can read Chaitanya Charitamrita and start to go deeper in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So we can understand that Krishna is unlimited. He's full in all six opulences. So he's complete in strength, beauty, fame, wealth, renunciation, and knowledge. So Krishna is complete in all knowledge. He knows everything. Krishna knows everything. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Vedaham samititani, I am the knower of everything. But still Krishna, although he knows everything, he still fails to understand Srimati Radharani. Radharani's glory is so great that her love is so great that even Krishna is unable to understand. So what chance do we have of understanding the glories of Srimati Radharani? Is beyond Krishna's understanding. So how can we, possibly tiny jivas, understand such a greatness of Srimati Radharani? So even Krishna is trying to understand Srimati Radharani's greatness. And in order to understand Srimati Radharani, then Krishna accepts the position of Radharani as in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Krishna himself with the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani. And so we will not be able to understand Radha Krishna unless we go through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because even Krishna accepts the role of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand Radharani. So in this way, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur actually he gives many beautiful verses, many books. Who's an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he gives a very beautiful verse. He says, Yata yata gora padara vinde, vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi, tata tato sarpati hridaya kasma radha padambu jasadambu rasi. In this verse he says, as much as one devotes his full attention to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, to that extent he will be able to taste the nectarian service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan. The more one engages in the service of Sri Chaitanya, the more one finds oneself in Vrindavan, tasting the nectar of the service of Sri Radha. So the more we serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya, the more we will be tasting the service of Srimati Radharani. Then we will be able to understand the mood of Lord Chaitanya and Srimati Radharani. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand, because Krishna only reveals to those who surrender to him. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching us by his feelings of separation from Krishna. There's so many places where Lord Chaitanya is feeling this separation from Krishna. And in the Shashtakam verses that Lord Chaitanya wrote, he says in the 7th verse that Yugaitam nimasena chakshusha pravashayatam shunyatam jagat sarvam govinda virahenami. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. So this is actually the mood of Ripalamba Bhav that Lord Chaitanya is expressing. And it's a very elevated stage. And also the Goswamis were following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. They were also teaching in the same way, that this feelings of separation. And in the Goswami Astakam, it's described that the prayers of the Goswamis, they were saying, they were going out in Vrindavan and they were searching for Krishna. They were saying, Hey Radhe, Hey Vrajadeviki, Hey Nanda Sunakutaha. So they're calling it, where are you, O Radharani? Where are your associates, the Vrajadevis? Where are you, O son of Nanda Maharaj Krishna? So they were searching like this out of intense separation. So Lord Chaitanya and the Goswamis taught feelings of separation and Vipralamba Seva. So this is how we actually should approach Radha and Krishna, through separation. We shouldn't try to see Radha Krishna artificially. We can't see Radha Krishna with our material eyes or hear them with our material ears. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Madhya Lila, there's a verse which describes that Atashi Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahim indriyai sevan mukhihi jivadu swayam eva spuruttada. The material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste Krishna Prasad, the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point that the tongue has two businesses: to articulate sound by chanting Hare Krishna and to take prasadam. So by this process, you will realize Krishna. So this is the process that we have to engage the tongue in Krishna's service to realize Krishna. And when Krishna is pleased, then he reveals himself. We can't artificially force ourselves into that understanding. So the more we chant and free ourselves from anarthas and aparads, the more we will advance. And actually this word aparad, if you see the word, there's apa and there's radha. So the apa means against, and radha is Shrimati Radharani, or in another context, worshipping. So aparada means against Radha. So if we're committing offenses, we're actually going against Shrimati Radharani. So we need to chant without offenses if we want to become closer to Shrimati Radharani and Krishna. So we go through the stages of Nama Parad, Nama Bas, which is the clearing stage, and then Shuddhanam, which is the pure chanting. Then we'll be able to chant Hare Krishna in the proper consciousness that we're associating with Radha Krishna. When we're chanting purely, then when we're chanting, then we will feel in a proper consciousness. Then we'll understand that when we're chanting Hare Krishna, that this is Radha Krishna personally present in sound. So this is a process, it's a gradual process, and we need patience. We can't just force our way to the highest understanding. And Radharani is very dear to Krishna. She's Hari Priya. So we have this verse, Tapta Kanchanan Gorangi, Radhik Vrindavan Ishwari, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priya. So Shrimati Radharani is very dear to Krishna. So if we pray to Shrimati Radharani and seek her blessings, then we will get Krishna's mercy more easily. So she's very compassionate and kind, so she can help us develop pure devotion. And I heard once in one lecture that just as the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and the soul's devotional service is part and parcel of Radharani's devotional service. So this is actually reciprocal, that the soul, the more it goes against Krishna, the more it goes away from Krishna, the more it's not able to become devoted to Krishna. So this devotion is actually Shrimati Radharani, is a part and parcel of Shrimati Radharani. And there's this verse, Tapta Kanchana Gorangi, is from a selection of beautiful verses called Radhastuti. I don't know if you can put that on the screen, Radhastuti. I'm not sure if it's by Rupa Goswami. I think it's 8 verses. Yeah. The 8th verse of this Radhastuti is the Tapta Kanchana Gorangi verse. So I thought we could read this together because it's very beautiful. Yes, we can do the translation as well. And it's the same melody as Tapta Kanchana and Gorangi. So we can just, so maybe I can sing it first and then everyone can sing it after. Radha Raseshwari Ramya Ramacha Paramatmana Rasobhava Krishna Kanta Krishna Vaksha Stalastita. Raseshwari Ramya Ramacha Paramatmana Rasobhava Krishna Kanta Krishna Vaksha Stalastita. Would somebody like to say the translation? Is there a mic? Krishna Prana Dharira Krishna Prana Didaricha Mahavishnu Prasurapi Sarvadya Vishnumaya Cha Satya Nitya Sanatani. Brahma Swarupa Parama Nirlipta Nirgunapara Vrinda Vrindavane Tvam Cha Viraja Tata Vasani. Goloka Vasani Gopi Gopisha Gopamatrika Sananda Paramananda Nanda Nanda Nakamani. Vrishabhanusutta Shanta Kanta Purnatama Tatha Kamya Kalavati Kanya Tirtha Puta Sati Shubha. Purnatama Tatha. Chaste. Samsara sagare gore bitamam sharanagatam sarvebhyopi vinirmuktam kururade sureshwari. Tvatpada padma yugale padma padmarlirachite dehe mayam param bhaktim krishnina parisevati. Tapta Kanchanan Gorangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Mahabhava Sarupa Tvam Krishna Priya Variyasi Prema Bhakti Pradidevi Radhike Tvam Namamiham. Thank you. So nice. This last verse is that she is able to bestow pure love for the Supreme Lord. So we pray to Srimati Radharani to help us and to bless us so that we can actually attain this pure love for Krishna, which is so rare. It's the most rarest thing in this world. And if we have her blessings, then we're actually very fortunate. Then we will be able to advance very nicely. So I've been speaking about the tattva, but my husband's going to be speaking about the pastimes of the birth of Srimati Radharani next. Is there any comments or questions before I finish? Everyone's happy. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ki jai.
So this is volume 4 of Nava Vraji Mahima, just in case anyone has it. They can go to volume 4 and then go to page 760. And it talks about Yamana Arjuna Tirtha to Raval. So that's 2 pastime places. So we're going to go from Yamula Arjuna Tirtha and come in at Raval. And there Shiv Ramaj is speaking. So we've got some pictures that will come up during the course. Are they going to? Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. So, having narrated Krishna's childhood pastimes in chronological order and named some of the innumerable places of his pastimes in Gokul, I now describe the last leg of my parikram, the holy town of Raval. Raghunath Das Goswami says that because Raval is the birthplace of Shri Radha, it is the chief Mukhya of all of the towns. He therefore refers to it as Mukhya Ravali in the following prayer. Gandhavarya Jani Mania Abud Yatra Sankita Tatyam Anandotike Sura Muni Narai Kirtida Gaba Kanyam Gopi Gopai Surabi Nikarai Samparatetra Mukye Ravalat Yake Vrishsaravi Pure Priti Puru Namaskam. In the city of Mukhya Valley, the precious jewel known as Srimati Radharani took birth in the mine of Kirtidar Devi's womb, which is glorified by jubilant demigods, sages, and human beings. I pray that when I enter King Vrishabhanu's capital city of Mukhya Ravali, populated with many gopis, and sarabi cows, I may drown in a great flood of transcendental bliss and love. In Boma Vrindavan, Raval is to this day a remote, undeveloped cowhead village. Indeed, the temple that commemorates King Vrishabhanu's home is modest and rarely visited by pilgrims. Ordinary vision does not reveal Raval as Das Goswami describes it. Still, its spiritual atmosphere invites one to chant Hare Krishna and eventually, through purified vision, glimpse the true Mukhya Ravali. I recall once sitting on top of the temple at Raval and chanting Hare Krishna with a few devotees. Although I was unable to see the original form of Shri Radha's birthplace, its presence could be felt. Srila Prabhupada writes that even beginners can feel the presence of the Dham. Still, if you go to Vrindavan without knowing about Krishna, you will at once feel Krishna consciousness. The end of my parakram was drawing near. Thoughts crowded my mind and emotions rose in my heart, all of which were appeased by chanting the holy names and remembering Srimati Radharani. In New Braj revel is also secluded, peaceful and spiritually uplifting. As I sat upon a log there, I let my mind flow with the currents of remembrance and listened to the sound of the Jamuna. So Sri Ramanuj is saying in New Braj, which is the farm in Samaj Vamash in Hungary, and he's marked out all these different pastime places. So this log that he's sitting on is the farm in Hungary. And he makes the point in Navirajya Mahima that if you have Radha and Krishna being worshipped and the deity worship is very fine, very precise, clean, punctual, then the Dham, Vrindavan, starts to manifest. The more that the puja goes up, the more the Dham manifests, and the more the puja becomes slacker, and the pujaris are late for the offerings, or the area where the deities are worshipped is becoming unclean, then the holy Dham starts to recede. So we have a GBC for deity worship in Kavacha, and he's traveled all around the world. He checks on the standards, and he says the standards here are good. He says, but the highest standards are in Hungary, in Samaj Vamash on the farm, and also now in Mayapur, the way they're dedicating whole wings to paraphernalia for the deities, and everything is marble. It's all first class. So this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted, because he wanted that we get strong by chanting Hare Krishna, and that will purify us. And the more we become purified by chanting, the more that we will feel the presence of the deities, and the more we will experience that we're in the Dham. And then we won't need to go anywhere else. We can just stay here and serve the deities. From Gokul, Lord Chaitanya visited Raval and exhibited symptoms of ecstasy so uniquely wonderful that the villagers there concluded, as they did wherever he went, that he was Krishna himself. By seeing the Lord's beautiful features and by hearing him chant Krishna's names, people were overwhelmed with spiritual emotions. Following his lead, they would also dance and sing in ecstasy. What was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's divine absorption while in Raval? Was he absorbed in the mood of Krishna visiting Radha's birthplace, of Radha returning home, or a perfected devotee on pilgrimage? So there's three different ways you can look at Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, is he absorbed in the mood of Krishna visiting Radha's place, or is he in the mood of Radha returning home, or is he a perfected devotee on pilgrimage? Only the Lord knows the contents of his own heart, though at the time they produced symptoms of ecstasy visible in his behavior and form for many hours. Finally, he left for Mathura, his heart at peace. When Raghava Acharya brought his young wards to Raval, they remained there throughout the night discussing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit and childhood pastimes of Radha and Krishna. In the early 19th century, the Jamuna's shifting current swept away the temple. Lord Chaitanya and his followers once visited. Since that time, a new temple was built dedicated to Radha as Laraliji. Srimati Radharani appeared in this world to assist Krishna in his mission to reveal the loving exchanges that go on in Goloka, and in that way to entice conditioned souls to return home back to Godhead. In her desire to be close to Krishna wherever he goes, Radha made her appearance accompanied by Gopas and Gopis in Raval, the ancestral home of Maharaj Vrishabhanu and his beautiful wife Kirti Da Devi. Scripture and oral tradition give three reports of Srimati Radharani's appearance, saying that she took birth from the ground, a lotus, and the womb. It is also said that she appeared in Raval and Varshana. In a Radhastami lecture, Srila Prabhupada once described how King Vrishabhanu was surprised to find Sri Radha buried in the earth, and how the king proudly presented the beautiful baby to his wife. The king was ploughing his fields with a golden plough to conclude a sacrifice the Vedas prescribed for kings with no issue, at the end of which the earth was supposed to bring forth a child. In much the same way, Shukadev Goswami describes that Sita Devi also appeared to Janak Maharaj from the furrows he was making with a plough, Sira, for which the king is known as Siradhwaj, Srila Prabhupada does not explicitly state that Radharani's father was performing a sacrifice. He may have been simply cultivating his fields. In any case, this is how His Divine Grace says that baby Radha appeared. The second version of Srimati Radharani's appearance is well established in the oral tradition of Braj, and it is the one that is most often narrated on parikram parties visiting both Raval and Varshana. In this version, King Vrishabhanu, while bathing in the river Jamuna early one morning, saw a 1,000-petaled lotus flower floating towards him. In the center of that lotus was an effulgent baby girl. Get ready for this one. Jai. So he must have been very pleased when he saw that. As the king lifted the smiling baby out of the lotus and embraced her, he felt waves of transcendental bliss course through his body. Lost in the throes of that intense ecstasy, he could neither move nor speak. After some time, Maharaj Vrishabhanu finally regained his composure. Bubbling with joy, he returned to his palace and placed the child in the arms of his queen, who was also consumed by parental bliss. The third version of Srimati Radharani's appearance, one often repeated in scriptures, and that's what we've just read, is that she was born from the womb of Kirtidar Devi, without Kirtidar's having been impregnated by her husband. Thus, as clouds floated peacefully in the sky, Radharani made her appearance at midday on the Monday of the 8th day of the bright fortnight of the moon of the month of Bhadra, August-September. As did Krishna's appearance 1 year earlier, Radha's appearance made the rivers clear, purified the directions, and invoked gentle, cooling breezes laden with the sweet aroma of blossoming flowers. Electrified by their good fortune and by the celestial beauty of their newborn child, Kirtidar and Vrishabhanu distributed unlimited charity as the demigods showered flowers upon Vrishabhanu's kingdom. Day by day, the child's beauty and qualities unfurled like lotus petals opening in the heat of the sun. But the sun that made Radha blossom was Nanda's boy, who was then playing in the dust of nearby Gokul. The beauty and influence of the newborn girl astonished the Braj gopis who came to see her. They would excitedly praise Kirtidar's good fortune as they rocked the child in their golden, gem-encrusted cradle. Even great demigods and sages cannot hope to see Srimati Radharani, the supreme goddess of fortune, but the gopis of Vrishabhanu's kingdom constantly and affectionately cuddled, caressed, and played with her. Unlike Krishna's childhood pastimes, which are amply recorded in the writings of Vyasadeva and Gaudiya Acharyas, most of the following pastimes are part of oral tradition, as told on Parikram to Raval. The scriptures record Radharani's pastimes only when they are integral to Krishna's. This shows that Srimati Radharani is to be heard of and meditated upon in relation to Sri Krishna and not alone. One day Narada Muni visited baby Krishna in Gokul. Assuming that the Lord's pleasure potency Shri Radha must also have taken birth nearby, the sage visited all the homes in Mahavan one by one. Although the great sage saw many young boys and girls and many beautiful newborns, he did not see a single child whose glance or presence made him feel irrepressible and incomparable bliss. Finally, after searching through most of Raval, Narada Muni came to the palace of Maharaj Vrishabhanu. Narada was cordially greeted by the king's attendants and at once brought into his court. After respectfully worshipping the sage, King Vrishabhanu inquired about the purpose of Narada's visit, but Narada answered with a question of his own. Has a girl recently taken birth in your house? Yes, by the grace of the Lord, I have been blessed with a daughter of divine countenance, Maharaj Vrishabhanu proudly replied. Thinking he had at last come to the right place, Narada asked to see the girl. However, the king had more to say. Unfortunately, this child has not yet opened her eyes. We do not know whether she is blind or a celestial who is unwilling to look at the imperfections of this world. But at Narada's request, the baby was brought before him. With deep spiritual insight, he at once recognized her to be Srimati Radharani, and with great difficulty, he restrained his ecstatic emotions and said, O king, Providence has surely blessed you. Quickly, bring me items for purification. I will perform a ceremony to ensure that in time, the child blesses the world with the glance of her doe-like eyes. Seizing this golden opportunity, Maharaj Vrishabhanu left Narad alone with Radharani and went about collecting the paraphernalia for blessing the newborn. Meanwhile, Narad knelt before Sri Radha. He offered prayers to Lord Krishna's eternal potency, who appeared on earth to serve the Lord's pastimes and display the pinnacle of spontaneous love for Krishna and the symptoms it invokes. As Narada Muni offered prayers, the little girl playfully wiggled her hands and feet. But knowing that Narad was eager to behold her original form, Radharani finally appeared to him as a fresh youth. Srimati Radharani's incomparable beauty and adolescent form, flanked by Lalita and Vishaka, rendered Narad speechless. He took in the wonder of the moment with transcendently enlivened senses. Narad's bliss was short-lived, however, because just before King Vrishabhanu returned, Sri Radha resumed her form as a baby. Narad hid his ecstasies and, as promised, performed the ritual for the child. Narad's vision of Radha's youthful form was too short for him to render any service to her, and Krishna was missing. Though elated by what he had seen, Narad left the palace, hankering for more. The sage then went to Naradvan. There, after long enduring austerities under the bridge Brinda Devi's direction, he was able to enter Radha and Krishna's pastimes in the form of a gopi, some call Naradiya. Narada Muni continues to travel throughout the entire universe, glorifying the Lord wherever he goes. He is a fitting exemplar for all sannyasis and traveling preachers, as shown by his thoughts, words, and deeds. One of Narad's prayers is perfectly suited for preachers. Shri Rasa Rangasya Vikasya Chandrika Deepalavya Vrishabhanu Mandare Goloka Chudamani Kanta Bhushanam Dayatyav Param Tadbhuve Pariyatma Aham. I wander this earth meditating on her, who is a moon shining in the arena of the rasa dance, who is a host of bright lamps in Vrishabhanu's palace, and who is the central jewel in the necklace of Goloka. Although Radha did not open her eyes during or immediately after Narad's ceremony, King Vrishabhanu had great faith that whatever the sage had said would come to pass. It was simply a matter of time. Indeed, the next day, Purnamasi Devi arrived to see the newborn. When she was shown little Radha, and the Brahmani at once recognized her as the original Lakshmi Devi, the Supreme Lord's eternal consort. Taking Vrishabhanu and Ketidhar aside, Purnamasi confidentially instructed the fortunate parents in the transcendental truths of their daughter, just as Gargamuni had instructed Krishna's parents in his. Purnamasi said, "This girl is not ordinary. Great personalities like Brahma, Shiva, and Narad worship her, knowing that she can fulfill all their desires, material and spiritual, so please take care of her." They were joyful to hear their daughter's glories, but the king and queen also expressed concern for Sri Radha's blindness. Not to worry, Purnamasi reassured them. This is just Radha's pastime. Later that day, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda arrived. They were close friends of King Vrishabhanu. Indeed, they had arranged his marriage to Ketidhar. They brought with them their own little son, Krishna. The anxious parents of Radharani confided in their elder well-wishers. They were deeply troubled by their daughter's blindness. Was it an ill omen? How could such a remarkable child be handicapped? While this conversation was going on, Krishna climbed down from his mother's lap and went into the bedroom where Radharani was sleeping. Climbing up on her bed, he gently touched Radha's eyes. As soon as Radha felt Krishna's touch, she became aware that the person for whom her eyes were created was there with her. Casting off her blindness, she opened her cloud-blue eyes and smiled. Soon the parents came into the bedroom and saw the two children sitting on the bed playing. Both couples were equally overjoyed that Radha had mysteriously opened her eyes and regained her sight. Both sets of parents marked this event as a sign that Radha and Krishna were eternally paired, that they knew no one else but each other, and that in this life they should again be united in marriage. Her vision restored, Radharani began to move, crawl, and in time play with the young girls their own age. The elder gopis marveled at the small baby's ladylike gestures, which were evident even in her play. When Radha turned 7 months old, Mother Ketidhar decided it was time to celebrate her daughter's first grain ceremony, Anna Prashan. Elaborate arrangements were made, and many guests were invited. Haribol! Mother Ketidhar sat near the fire with Radharani on her lap as the Brahmins performed the sacrifice and chanted auspicious mantras. Before Ketidar sat her friend Yashoda with her son Krishna on her lap. Oh, you got that one as well? That should be there as well, yeah. Mother Yashoda held a bowl of sweet rice from which she would feed Krishna whenever he felt hungry. At one point, Radha unexpectedly reached over and took a morsel from Krishna's bowl and ate it. Thus Srimati Radharani's first grains were Sri Krishna's remnants. This spontaneous event strengthened the two mothers' conviction that divine providence had chosen their children for each other. Though Srimati Radharani's pastimes are unlimited, I shall conclude by narrating how Devasa Muni once blessed Radharani that whatever she cooked would have the taste and effect of nectar. One day, when Radha was a few years old and accustomed to imitating her mother's domestic duties, such as cooking and cleaning, Devasa Muni appeared outside the entrance to Vrishabhanu's palace. The sage had already confirmed for himself that Krishna was indeed the Supreme Lord. Now he also wanted to verify what he had heard from the celestials, that the goddess of fortune had appeared in Raval. Little Radha and her young girlfriends were happily playing in the courtyard when Devasa Muni arrived. The awesome features of the sage scared away all the girls except for Srimati Radharani. Radha had often seen her parents greet saints and yogis. In imitation, she fearlessly touched Devasa's feet, then joined her small soft palms together and sweetly said, Swagatam, welcome. Amazed by the delicate beauty and aristocratic bearing of this tiny girl, Devasa bent over and gently asked Radha, Who are you, little girl? And what games have you been playing with your friends? In a steady voice, Radha answered, My name is Radha, the daughter of Queen Ketidar. My friends and I have been pretending to cook for Maharaj Nanda's son, the killer of Putana and Trinavata. As she finished speaking, Sri Radha pointed to the courtyard and a small makeshift temple fashioned from mud. There sat a likeness of child Krishna, decorated with flowers, leaves, and bits of coloured cloth. Because the residents of Braj were always speaking about Krishna, he had become the centre of little Radha's life. At Radha's insistence, her mother had given her a doll of Krishna to play with. Thus the activities of Radha and her friends were generally centred around dressing and decorating Krishna's image, cooking for him, offering him arti, and then tucking him in as they sang for him. Radharani's attraction to serving Krishna was not just the result of hearing about him. She was his eternal consort. Her spontaneous inclination to serve and worship him increased with every day. Just as young girls play with dolls, Radharani and her friends played with a doll of Krishna. Seeing this, Devasa raised his thick eyebrows in wonder and asked the tiny girl, Are you an attentive housewife? I am not married, little Radha replied, but because Krishna is well known to be very demanding and capricious, my friends and I try to serve this doll of him in a way that he will be satisfied with us. So she knows big words, although she's only young. Devasa Muni was taken aback by Radharani's reply. No ordinary girl her age could think such thoughts, let alone find words for them. Desiring to test Radha further, the sage said, Little Radha, yesterday was Ekadashi, and today I must break my fast. Won't you cook sweet rice for your Krishna and feed me the remnants? In this way I will complete my vow and will also test your skill as a cook. Though she appeared to be a tiny child, Sri Radha at once accepted the sage's request. She offered him a seat on a bench beneath a tree and ran into the palace to tell Mother Ketidar of her new service. Just to hear the news that Devasa Muni had arrived was enough to strike fear in the hearts of the palace residents, who knew Devas was easily angered. Thus they warily offered their respects from afar. But when the Gopas and Gopis saw how fatherly the sage was behaving towards little Radha, they felt somewhat reassured and at once sprang into action to fulfill his request, making preparations for sweet rice. Mother Ketidar personally collected the ingredients. As she began to stoke the fire, Sri Radha came into the kitchen and announced, I must cook. The great yogi has asked me to make sweet rice for him. But the queen was not willing to make child's play out of Devasa's meal at the risk of provoking him in a way that could bring a curse upon their household. Sweetly stroking her daughter's face, she said, Darling, I will cook and you will watch, But Radha would not have it. Mother, you don't understand. The saint wants to test my cooking. Ketidar poured milk in a pot and then turned to face her daughter. The queen could see the determined look on little Radharani's face, and she knew that when her daughter wanted something, she would persist until she finally got it. And then it was her contrary nature. Devas would have to break his fast soon, and as they had no time to waste arguing, the queen nodded her head and said, "All right, let me bring the ingredients, then you can mix them and stir the pot." A servant set up a bench for Radha to stand on, and Kirtidar, after bringing the rice, sugar, camphor, and bay leaves, measured out the proportions. Then she and Radha together placed them in the milk. Radha took the large wooden spoon from her mother's hand and insisted that she be the one to stir the mixture until the rice had cooked. She also helped pour the sweet rice into a clay pot for cooling. With plenty of time for Devas to break his fast, the clay pots were brought outside and placed before the image of Krishna. Little Radha made the offering in her own way, with her own words. So just as an aside, for those of you who don't know, Devasa Muni was famous. He's a partial incarnation of Shiva. And when the Pandavas were in exile, Duryodhana wanted to try and find some way of getting them into trouble, even though they were already without a kingdom. Still, he wanted to rub salt in the wound. So when he saw Devasa Muni, he made a big fuss and served him really, really nicely. And then Devasa Muni says, "You've served me very nicely. You've made me feel very welcome. Can I offer you a benediction?" And he said, "Oh, no benediction, great sage. But just if you could go and take your meal with the Pandavas, they're in exile over there." And so he said, "Wait until Draupadi has fed everybody and washed the pot." Because she had this pot, which was given to her by the sun god, that it had unlimited amounts that could come out of it, as long as she hadn't eaten. But once she'd eaten, then the pot would be empty. So Devasa Muni came just after she'd washed the pot, and he said, I'm just going to go for a bath. I've got 50,000 disciples with me, and I want prasadam." So and then he went off, and then they knew if they didn't get it together, they would get cursed, and that's what Duryodhana was hoping for. So Draupadi was in great anxiety, and she was praying to Krishna, and she was one of these few personalities who, whenever she prayed very sincerely, Krishna would appear before her. So Krishna appeared right before her, and he said, "What's the problem?" She says, "I've served all the food, and now Devasa Muni is here with 50,000 disciples. How are we going to be able to prepare all that food for him?" So Krishna says, "Just give me one remnant, one speck." And so the pot was completely empty, but there was a little bit of vegetable still on the side of the pot. Krishna took it, and then he ate it, and then he burped. And he goes, satisfied. And then Devasa Muni was there with all his disciples in the water, and suddenly they were like really bloated, like they just had a huge feast, and they're all looking, and they sent Bhima to go and call for Devasa Muni, and Devasa Muni knew that if Bhima got angry, that would be a problem as well, and so they couldn't face the embarrassment of going, thinking that Draupadi had made all this prasadam for them, and they wouldn't be able to eat it because they were bloated. So they all just ran off in different directions and hid out the way. And Yudhisthira didn't believe that he'd gone, so Yudhisthira went to see, and they'd vanished completely, vamushed, So they were protected from the wrath of Devasa Muni. The offering complete, Radha helped her mother seat the sage comfortably in the courtyard. When Ketidar brought a pot of sweet rice, Radha spooned its contents into a clay bowl before Devasa. Devasa Muni took note of the little girl's refined manners and listened to her eloquent words. After he had intoned mantras over the food in front of him, he smiled at Radha and said softly, "Now I will see how well you cook and how much your hero Krishna savors your cooking." But even before Devasa put the sweet rice to his lips, its aroma had already captivated his mind. It was celestial. As he ate the sweet rice, The sage could discern two things. Materially, it was perfect in appearance, taste, and texture, and spiritually, it was mixed with prem from both Radha the cook and Krishna the enjoyer. Without looking up, the sage ate every last drop of sweet rice, his bliss increasing with each mouthful. There could be no doubt about it. A child with such sublime touch must be the Supreme Lord's consort. Under the influence of spiritual ecstasy, Devasa Muni foresaw both how Radha and Krishna's loving pastimes would unfold on the petals of the lotus of Braj, as well as his service to the divine couple. Devasa understood that he would come to be known throughout Braj as the initiator of one of Krishna's important daily pastimes, for Yashoda Devi would soon ask Radha to cook for Krishna every morning. After washing his hands, feet, and mouth, the Muni scanned the courtyard, looking at the Brajbasis who had crowded around, and then the little girl patiently standing there before him. Trying to wrest control over his ecstasy, Devasa spoke to little Radha. "O child, you have served me with devotion and given me a taste of your unmatched culinary skill. I must reward you in the form of the following blessing. I shall share with you half of whatever my austerities have brought to me." Hearing this, the Brajbasis whispered to one another. Radha joined their palms in respect. The Muni's eyes clouded with tears as he said, "I declare that whatever you cook will taste like nectar. In addition, whoever tastes it will never see disease, defeat from enemies, or bad fortune. O Radha, for as long as this world turns, you will be famous as the Empress of Cooks. And because everything you touch will turn to nectar, you will be known by names like Amritapani, Om Tat Sat." After hearing this wonderful blessing, Vrishabhanu, Ketidar, and little Radharani bowed down together to offer their respectful obeisances at the feet of the sage, and the villagers buzzed with excitement. His mission complete, Devasa Muni suddenly disappeared, leaving the assembly of gopis and gopis wondering how he had departed. Overjoyed for her daughter, Ketidar kissed and embraced Radharani. As she tightly held her unfortunate child in their arms, Ketidar exclaimed, "Oh Radha, how fortunate we are! By the sage's blessing, even the Supreme Lord will insist on eating from your hands. Just imagine." Mother Ketidar was right. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was extremely eager to savor the taste of amorous love with which Srimati Radharani would spice every dish that she cooked. Oh yeah, you can put that one up. So that's Krishna chilled out after some prasadam. It says, after meeting her, Krishna would dream about Radha, his eternal consort. And as a result of Devasa's public blessing, all of Vrindavan soon resounded with the news that Radharani's cooking surpassed that of Lakshmi Devi and was the cause of all good fortune for whoever ate it. When Mother Yashoda came, and actually that's something all the cooks should know this, that when you're in the kitchen, that's Radharani's kitchen. And if anything nice comes out of the kitchen, it's because of her blessings. So the kitchen needs to be spotlessly clean, all the spices in the proper bowls, everything neat, tidy. And if anything's run out, it should be filled up. When the next cook comes in, it should be he's there filling half the stuff. Just thought I'd put that in as a plug because I'm in there cooking as well. Anyway, Prabhupada said, cooking means cleaning. So if you're good at cleaning, then you'll be a good cook. And if you're very dirty and messy, whatever comes out of the kitchen won't be good. When Mother Yashoda came to hear that whatever Radha cooked acted like the armor of Lord Narayan, she at once thought of her son Krishna, who was the constant target for ferocious demons. Yashoda and Ketidar were such close friends that Yashoda had no qualms about asking Radha to cook for Krishna every day, knowing that through Radha's hands he would get Devasa's potent blessings. So there's one nice pastime in the books where Radharani is going in again with her. She has a little school of caravan, Sri Ramakrishna describes it as, of manjaris and sakis that are helping her to cook. And as she goes in, there's a latticed partition from the kitchen to the entrance. And as she's going through, she looks through the lattice partition and she sees Krishna. And Krishna stops and sees her. And just for a split second, their eyes meet through the latticed partition. And they look. And she goes on and goes that way. He goes that way. It is doubtful that as a small child, Radharani would have travelled to Gokul every day to cook for Krishna, but it is certain that she made daily trips to Nandagram after her family had moved to Vaishana. Our Vaishnava acharyas, however, mostly describe her treks to Nandagram from Yavat, not from Vaishana, and her preparing Krishna's breakfast after she had married the Gopa Abhimanyu. In addition to cooking Krishna's breakfast daily, she also prepared sweets for him every afternoon. Yashoda would feed Krishna the sweets at supper. Radha also helped to cook Krishna's annual birthday feast. And everyone knows the famous painting, right? There's a famous painting where Krishna's coming up like that, and Mother Yashoda is stretching her arms, and he's coming up the steps back into the palace. And then at the side, there's a little girl dressed in red, and she's smiling shyly, and she has a little plate with sweets on it. So that's the pastime midday. She has sweets ready for Krishna. In addition to cooking Krishna's breakfast, she also prepared sweets for him every afternoon. Yashoda would feed Krishna the sweets at supper. Radha also helped to cook Krishna's annual birthday feast. The conservative culture of Raj would hardly approve of a young girl cooking for a boy to whom she was not betrothed, not to mention a young bride cooking for an unmarried man known to be a libertine. But Devasa Muni's blessings on Radharani justified such an exceptional situation. Though the blessing did nothing to prevent rumour-mongers from asserting that the underlying cause was illicit. Still, all of Braj knew the benefits of Radha's cooking, and since Krishna was the one protecting them from demons, the Brajbasis almost unanimously agreed that she be allowed to cook for him. Sitting in the meadow that marks the remote hamlet of Raval, I looked around New Braj Dham. My parakram, like all parakrams of Braj, had come to an end at the birthplace of Srimati Radharani. In Boma Vrindavan, the Pandas of Vaishana are keen to point out that Radha was born there. They fail to point out, however, that she took birth in Vaishana in the previous day of Brahma, not in this one. Both Raval and Vaishana are places of Sri Radha's birth, but in the present day of Brahma, she appeared at Raval and manifested her childhood pastimes for as long as her family lived in Mahavan. Jai. When Nanda Maharaj moved his subjects to Vrindavan forest, his good friend King Vrishabhanu decided to follow suit. In this way, Mahavan ceased to be the Brajvasi's primary place of residence. Seated on a tree stump, I listened to the sounds of New Braj Dham. Were these the sounds of Mahavan without the voices of Krishna and Balaram happily playing with their friends by the Jamuna's shore? Or was it the epilogue of the many footsteps I had taken to walk around the Dham, eagerly remembering Krishna's pastimes with his associates, wondering to myself when I too would see those pastimes? So it's an important part of our sadhana, and Prabhupada wanted us to go to the Dham once a year, is to go on parikram, so that when you're chanting your japa, you can meditate on the Jamuna, on Radhakund, on Raghunath Das, his Samadhi, Rupa Goswami Samadhi, Radha Damodar, all these special places. And there's particular places that devotees will resonate with, especially. Govardhan Hill is very special as well. And then when we come back here into the West to do our preaching and our services that we have to do, then we can stay in Vrindavan. We can do our duty externally, and internally we can live in the land of the gopis. And that's the perfection. Jai Shrimati Radharani ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Haribol. So now Bhajan.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Oravani Pacharine Navishesha Shunyavadi Aschachadishatarine Nam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Jaya Korani Sai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya Korani Sai Jaya Mayapur Shashi. Jaya Korani Sai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya Korani Sai Jaya Mayapur Shashi. Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Shri Shri Kunitaya Mayapusha Ki Jai. So, for those that want to continue fasting, they're very welcome. In Granga Hall. Something like that. Shivati Radharani K.